Hello and welcome to today's Multichrome Monday. If you're new here, my name is Millie and this is a series I do here on my channel where I feature different multichromes from all different kinds of brands. I do swatches, swatch comparisons, tutorials, and everything else that has to do with multichrome eyeshadows. And today I'm going to be talking about actually multichrome highlighters, even though some of these are more like eyeshadows. And so these are from Bernovich Beauty. I have some of their older releases as well as some of their newest releases in here, and I never got around to do a video with their previous release, so I'm going to be kind of merging these two together. These are the shades I'm using as eyeshadows, and up here we have their beautiful iridescent type of highlighters. They're just so stunning. They do have a color to them, and they also launched these two shades. We have like a more diamond type of topper, so it's just white, and then also this slate-ish kind of gray shade. And then here are these sugar-coated highlighters, which have a little bit more of a color to them, and these are definitely shifty and just beautiful. So at this point, I pretty much have almost all of the highlighters, so I'm definitely going to be doing some swatch comparisons because I think you can tell some of these are looking a little bit similar, so I think that will be definitely very helpful. And then I will also show you how some of these split pans look like on the cheek. I couldn't just swatch all of these in one video, unfortunately, but I only have two cheeks to put these on. And then I'll also do 4 looks with these shades so you can see how these look on the lid and how they compare. And then at the end of the video, as always, I will give you my thoughts, so let's get right into it. So first up is the candy coated collection. I call them the sugar coated collection in the intro, but yeah, they're candy coated. And you can see that these have a bit more oomph to them, so the blue really looks like a pastel blue versus the iridescent shades that just give that sheen. For the Aura Quartz shade, I just swirled my whole finger in there. So this swatch is what it looks like all together. And here's a close-up of crystallized kohl. You can see there's just a bunch of different color flecks throughout this whole shade. It's so beautiful. And you can also see that it does have a darker base to it. If I was to kind of blend away the sparkly pigment, you are left with a dark gray base. Here are the Kaleidoscope highlighters. These are a little bit smoother than the Diamond Transformers, but the Diamond Transformers do completely smooth out, so it's not like they're like super chunky or flaky. They just have a little bit more of a larger particle size formula, but these are just so stunning. The way that these just look so smooth and wet once you put them on. Let's get a little close-up action. Here are these split pans of the Diamond Transformers. The top 2 are from Princess Cut and the bottom 2 are from Azure Frost. And the blue is definitely a little bit similar, but the one in Princess Cut all the way at the top, it's more of an aqua, while the Azure Frost blue is more of just like a true blue. And the shifts are a little bit different. They do have like a purpley shift, but I feel like they look just a tiny bit different. Do you need both of them? Probably not. I think I would just pick and choose which duo you prefer. And I would like to mention that the green in the Azure Frost or the very last shade does feel just a little bit different than these other shades. It just seems a little bit smoother, almost more similar to the Kaleidoscope highlighter. It's not as like chunky when you pick it up with a finger. These are just so beautiful. Next up is Majestic Marquee and Dazzle Dutchess. These all feel like the same texture, just a little bit flakier, but they do smooth out completely and they look totally wet on the skin. Alright, swatch comparisons. We have Luster at the top, which is from Kaleidoscope, and then below that is from Dazzle Dutchess, and below that Princess Cut. So I think that Luster looks pretty much almost identical to Princess Cut. You can kind of see it in the tone and the kind of shift as well. I think the shade from Dazzle Dutchess is just a little bit different of a shift. A little bit similar, also straight on, but I do think that the tone is just a little bit different. But I would definitely just recommend like one of these, probably one of the ones that are the split pan shades. Next up at the top is the second half of the Dazzle Dutchess, and below that is Electric. These are very similar, but you can actually see the slight formulation difference here. The Dazzle Dutchess just looks very, very like glitzy, just a little bit more sheer, but again, super, super smooth, while Electric looks like it just has a little bit more pigment to it, but they're still very, very shiny, and neither of these formulas accentuate skin texture. Next up is Majestic Marquee at the top and Whimsical below that. Pretty much identical shades, I would say. Even just with a shift, the way they look, the formula you can tell is different. Majestic has just got that extra sparkle to it. Next up we have the Kaleidoscope shades. So these are the more multi-chrome kind of shades. I think the shifts are very, very hard to see because of just how dark the gray, almost black base is under them. And you can almost see that also kind of like at the ends of them, especially if I blend it out, you can really see the black base. I think the shift is the most obvious in the shade Burnish. But these are very smooth and very shiny. So here are the split pans from the Diamond Transformers. And I kind of try to group them a little bit together so you could just see the shade comparisons between all of these. So there's some similar tones, but also a little bit different. I think the shift in these is a little bit more obvious than in the Kaleidoscope shades. There's still quite a bit of a black base to all of these shades. However, again, they're so sparkly and shimmery. They're even more shiny than the Kaleidoscope. I think my least favorite is the duo on the bottom. The green in there is just very, very murky. It doesn't even have that much sparkle in it, and the shift just gets completely lost. So you can see there's some similar types of tones here for sure. I think Royal Facet is more of a green or a teal shade, and it also has just so many flecks throughout it. It's really, really beautiful, though the shift is not as obvious as I think these other shades are. So while these are not completely identical, I think the tone, if you really, really look at them, is just slightly different when you see them straight on. I don't really think that they're different enough, especially because the shifts are so similar. Next onto the greens, we have Voltage from the Kaleidoscope collection, then Radiant Luxe, and below that is Emerald Waves. Which that shade, honestly, like, it's just so muddy. Even when you're swatching it, it just looks really, really more gray than black. The pigment just gets completely lost in there. So Radiant Luxe and Voltage are not necessarily identical, but I don't think that you would need both of these for sure. I would definitely recommend getting the split pan, or if you really like these shades in the Kaleidoscope collection, get the pan that has all 4 Kaleidoscope shades in it. I think you can tell just from the swatches the texture is different. Arcane is a little bit just less shiny. It's a bit more just smooth metallic, while Royal Facet is just super, super sparkly. It's got that extra glitziness to it. And I think these are very, very similar. Again, the tone might be just a tiny bit different, but do you need both of these shades? Absolutely not. Though I do prefer the Diamond Transformers because of their texture. They're just so sparkly. Last up with a swatch comparison. These are all extremely similar. You can really tell that these have a grayish darker base. You can also see there's a textural difference. Even from swatching, you'll be able to tell that Burnish feels smoother, while the shades from the Diamond Transformers, they just have a tiny bit of a grittiness to them, but that doesn't mean they would be irritating or anything like that on the lid. You will not feel that on the lid. It's just something you would notice just if you swatch them together with your finger. And these are almost identical, even within just between the Diamond Transformers. They're super similar. There's maybe a tiny tonal difference. I think Radiant Luxe is a little bit of a darker purple. On this side, I'm going to use Majestic Marquee. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm going to go in with the blue first. So there's like a blue and another purple, but this is like a pinky purple. The other one is more like a peachy pink, I think. So here we have, oh, that is so beautiful. Oh my goodness. I just get so excited putting these on. Oh. And then layering the purple over it. It looks so beautiful. I think I'm gonna add a little bit more purple. I can definitely see them kind of merging together. I think it depends on how much you put on and which one you put on last. So let's see if I can show, you can see the purple in this way more, but then here you can see like the blue. So I'm gonna go in on this cheek with Princess Cut. We've got 2 shades. This is looking a little green, but it's pretty blue and it shifts to a purple, it looks like. And then this is like a pinky tone. So I'm gonna go in with the pinky tone first. Add a little bit more, but I want to layer these. I don't want to go in with too much. And again, I do really like to spray my face with some Fix Plus and then put on the highlighter. But for now, I'm just going to use it dry. So I'm going to go in with the blue now. Oh yeah, that definitely overtook the look. And that is so beautiful. Going in with Azure Frost on this side, I'm going to switch to a fluffier brush. This is from Wet n Wild. We've got a green and a blue. So I'm going to go in with the green. Oh yeah, that is so beautiful. I love me a green cheek personally, and then I'm going to layer the blue over it. This one looks like it's a little bit flakier.
You're gone now, but you're coming back. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know that. You're the traveling kind. It's a known fact. Yeah, I know that. Once you've seen all the things, all the places, I hope it means that you'll come home to me. Once you've traveled the world, all the spaces inside your heart, I hope I'll be your end destination. I hope I'll be your life-changing sensation. I hope I'll be something that you won't let go. I'll be your high when you fall down low. I hope I'll be your end destination. You're far away and yet so close. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, you're up in space. You're inside the noise. I can feel you. Once you've seen all the things, all the places, I hope it means that you'll come home to me. Once you've traveled the world, all the spaces inside your heart, I hope I'll be your end destination. I hope I'll be your life-changing sensation. I hope I'll be something that you won't let go. I'll be your high when you fall down low. I hope I'll be your end destination. You're gone now, but you're coming back. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know that. You're the traveling kind. It's a known fact. Yeah, I know that. I hope I'll be your end destination. I hope I'll be your life-changing sensation. I hope I'll be something that you won't let.
So since I have all these shades, obviously I do really enjoy their formula. Their highlighter formula is actually my favorite highlighter formula of all time. I know that's a big statement to make, but honestly, like, I just don't want to reach for anything else. I have to force myself to use another highlighter because I just love these so much. And up until a couple of months ago, I had only the sugar coated collection, and I love these so much. These are just so magical, and every day I just look forward to choosing which shade I would like to match with my eyeshadow, or just which shade I feel like putting on the cheeks. My absolute favorite from this collection is the shade Pastel Pucker. 10 out of 10 recommend. Also, you can use these as eyeshadow, of course, and I definitely have done that because they are so stunning. These do have a bit more of a base and a shift than some of the iridescent highlighters. I know this video isn't specifically about the candy coated highlighters, but I did want to mention them because I have been using them for a very long time. So now let's talk about the shade Aura Quartz. I love this shade because you have 4 different shades in here actually, so you can really go in like and be precise. And if you just want to put on the green shade, the blue shade, you can do that. You can swirl your brush all in there and just put all of them on the cheek, which is usually what I do. It's definitely a little bit hard to try to grab the shades that are on the edges of here, but I love this highlighter. I think if you were to get one highlighter, I would get this one because you get 4 shades and you can swirl them, you can use them separately. I really feel like that highlighter is definitely worth the price tag. Also, the formula on this is just like the other iridescent shades, and it is the reason I love these highlighters so much. It's because of the formula and the texture of them. They just melt into the skin. They don't accentuate skin texture. They look absolutely amazing. They give you a wet look. They're just so easy to use, and I know I'm always guaranteed like an amazing highlight day if I use these. Next, I want to talk about these 2 shades, White Diamond. I've only used this a couple of times. I love this as a topper, but also just like an all over highlight. But you could also just grab this shade and then really just top it off very particularly in the highest point of your cheek to give that extra oomph if you really want it to be glowy. And then the shade Crystallized Coal. Obviously, I'm going to be using this as an eyeshadow. It is a pretty large eyeshadow, but it is so beautiful. There's just flecks of like rainbow. It's almost like a hollow eyeshadow without truly being hollow, but it looks really amazing up close and on the lids, as you saw, just super wet looking. So next I'm going to talk about these iridescent highlighters. We have the Kaleidoscope Glow and the Diamonds Transformers, which are the split pans. There's definitely some overlap in the shades for sure. I would recommend you get the split pans versus the full size highlighters of the Kaleidoscope Glow, just because I like the idea of having 2 different shades to play with per pan for those $20. Even though I feel like $20 for each of these is really not a lot because you get so much product and the formula is just so exquisite. But that being said, if you want more bang for your buck, definitely recommend getting one of these and really just thinking about which 2 shades you would like. So if you want like a pink and a green, pink and a blue, green and a blue, you know what I mean? But I just love all these iridescent shades so much. They do have a little bit of a shift, but I don't think it's quite like a multichrome. So let's talk about the other shades. We have the other Kaleidoscope collection, which are these 4 shades. There's actually a pan where you can get all 4 shades in one pan for like $22, I believe. Maybe it might be $25, I'm not sure. So we have 2 different collections in here. We have the Diamond Transformers, and then we have the Kaleidoscope highlighters, which have that beautiful full imprint in them. And I did ask Better Beauty before I bought the new Diamond Transformers if there was any overlap in the shades, because they kind of look like they were just from the photos, and they said no, that these were all new shades. When I received my order of the Diamond Transformer shades and I put them next to the Kaleidoscope, I definitely thought I could see some very similar shades. So I'm a little confused because there's definitely some overlap between these shades. There might be just like very slight tonal differences, but I don't think it's enough to warrant having all of these, buying all of these. So I've had the Kaleidoscope shades longer than the new Diamond Transformer shades, so I did get to play around with them a little bit. And from swatching, even just when I first received them and from playing with these on my lids, I do gotta say that they have quite a bit of a grayish, really dark, almost black base. But when you swatch them, the color pigment almost gets a little lost and you really have to layer it just when you're swatching it. And if you're applying these on the lid, I definitely recommend using a glitter primer, because especially the Diamond Transformers, they're a little bit on the like extra sparkly side. Not saying they're like glittery or anything like that, but they do just have a little bit of like almost flakiness to them. Without being textured at all, they look extremely smooth, but they need that little tackiness to really stick down. I would definitely not recommend putting these on dry. I don't think you're going to be able to get the most color payoff that way, so definitely recommend NYX Glitter Primer or whatever other tacky primer that dries down. So if I were you, while both of these are very sparkly, let's get that on there. They're really beautiful. Once they're on the lid, they are definitely darker, so you're gonna get a smokier kind of eye look with these. I would go for the split pans, again, for the same reason as the highlighters, because you get 2 shades per pan. And out of all of these, the shades I would recommend the most is definitely this shade up here, which is Ice Queen, which you have the beautiful purple and the blue, which is what I'm wearing on the lids right now. And I love that combination. They're very beautiful, very vibrant, but again, they have that black base, and As you saw in the swatches, personally, I'm not really the biggest fan of these. While they are super, super shiny and sparkly, which is exactly what I look for, I just don't think that personally these were worth it for me. I would have preferred smaller pans of these versus a really, really large pan, because I do obviously have a lot of these shades across my collection. Are they the same exact formula texture? Probably not, but I could probably get something like it with my smaller 26mm size eyeshadow singles. So those are all my thoughts. I really hope that this video was helpful and informative, and now you can make an informed purchase. Let me know in the comments below if you've tried any of these highlighters out. I would love to hear your thoughts. Which shade is your favorite? And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, I would love it if you subscribe. There's so much indie makeup content up already on my channel and much more to come. You don't want to miss out. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.